Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter. Tonight is going to be a solo show since Cody is going to be at the basketball game. We do have a basketball game tonight against Grambling at 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus. So make sure that if you're going to Hilton Coliseum, be safe. Go out there, cheer loud for our clones. I just wanted to put out a quick episode for you guys. We're gonna do we usually do a preview and then we take a look at that. Just a regular preview show for you. Obviously, as you see with tonight's show, yeah, it's a TCU preview. Do the clones have any fight left? We saw today's uh in today's injury report that Jamison Patton is going to be out. So there's just going to be a another just injury to this already depleted secondary. I mean, the question that I have is just, man, like, what is up with all these injuries? Like, I understand, like, there are times where, like, it's just bad luck, but I don't know. I feel like something has to be put into question because I feel like after these last 2 years, there's really no way that all of this can just be bad luck. I just like the injuries have piled up the last 2 years and basically has just depleted us down to just where we basically cannot field a team, at least defensively. And it's just only been happening on the defensive side of the football, which I find pretty interesting. But man, you got to think that there's something maybe with the training staff, and I don't want to speculate, but it's so weird to me why we've only been able to have to stack up injuries only on that side of the ball. So uh, it's very interesting to me. Uh, And that's all the thing I have to say really about that. We're gonna just do a deep dive into this TCU game. We're gonna first take a look at TCU's offense. Uh, TCU's offense versus the Iowa State defense. As I already told you, I mean this game is going to be. I mean, dependent on if I mean, whatever is left of that defense can step up and at least get some type of stops, because TCU's offense is pretty potent. I will say that with that, TCU uh, does like they are a good offense. They will be able to sometimes give the ball up to you, and they do also are missing one of their kickers and do have a backup kicker in. So it's going to be one of those situations where we had earlier in the year where if once they get to our side of the 50, once they get to like a comfortable range, they're going to have their kicker go. Otherwise, they're going to go for it on fourth downs in our side of the field. So we're just going to take a look at ESPN, look at their passing leaders. Let's take a look at their team statistics. So they're 11th in college football with 301 passing yards a game, 108th on the ground with 124 yards, and they average about 34 points a game, which is top 30 in the nation. So I think one of the guys that I am very worried about with this defensive roster is definitely Eric McAllister. Eric McAllister, by far is this team's best receiver. 37 receptions for 727 yards and 8 touchdowns. Um, so definitely a guy to watch out for. In the run game, obviously Iowa State's been doing pretty good in the run game. Actually, obviously, yeah, except for the exception of last week where, like, he, Sims just literally just wore that Iowa State defense down, and Iowa State wasn't able to adjust since he was able to run it for almost 200 yards. But the running back. I look at the running back room. Cavoyan Barnes, 418 yards. And then they have Trent Battle, which looks like he is their other back who has 323 yards and 5 touchdowns. Both have ones at 75 and 65 yards. That could also possibly be trouble for the Cyclones if they do not tackle at the point of attack. Um, I think defensively, if we're able to get penetration in the run game, obviously they're going to be obviously TCU is going to want to pass it. So whoever is going to be playing, which is probably going to be Trey Bell and obviously Trey Bell and um, Quentin Taylor a lot, and then you're probably going to be seeing Josh Patterson, who has actually been pretty solid, the freshman from Jacksonville, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see Coffee as well. Just cover as well as they can and see if we can get them off the field. Um, and obviously that's easier said than done with just how with how a struggle it's been with this defense to get off the field. Now we're going to move to the offensive side of the ball for Iowa State versus TCU's defense. Now TCU's defense, if you look at their defense, we're going to go and take a look at their defense overall. They do have they are a solid defense, but they also are a defense that struggles to get off the field on third down conversions. I know, um, and they give up about 25 points a game, which is 75th in the FBS. Um, I will say that I do see, like always, I'm not worried that Iowa State is not going to be able to move the ball. What I'm worried about is just the same thing that we've been seeing for the last few weeks. Is Iowa State actually going to finally convert these drives into points? That's really what's going to be the thing for Iowa State for me. I think we're going to be able to run the ball again. I think we'll be able to pass it. I think it's just are the receivers this time going to be able to come in with a sense of focus and be able to go and look these balls in and catch the ball? That's just one thing. And is Rocco going to be able to? Is this going to be a game where Rocco is going to be able to get his confidence back? I mean, because that's what it is. And honestly, the receivers really haven't helped the situation, and that's mainly because it's just we every time we get into and get this with this offense to get a rhythm, every single time it's just like drop pass here, drop pass there, or maybe Rockets a little bit off on one pass, or maybe it's just just a slide, a slid off, or just a little bit off. We have to be convert on these drives, and I do think though that in this game, I think Iowa State's definitely going to be leaning in on the run game, and they're probably going to put it to where they do these maybe not long sustained drives, but have these drives to keep the TCU offense off the field, especially when you have a defense that's depleted. I definitely think that we're definitely going to see more of a ball control type approach from the Iowa State offense. So I definitely expect them to lean in the run game. And I think if we're going to do that, I think we also should definitely lean into the play action pass. Um, I also think that those lanes are going to be open, especially for the tight ends. I think the tight ends are going to be huge in this game, especially when I said, like I just said, that this is going to be more of a ball control type of approach. So right now, we are going to go into the three keys into the game. I think my three keys, at least for me, are to one, we have to finish drives. I think that's honestly just been the one thing that has been ailing this Iowa State offense is the inability to finish drives in the red zone. Because it seems like we can just move the ball from the 20s to the 20s to the 20, and then once we get inside the red zone, it just seems like there's just penalties that happened, or there's a nice pass for a rocker, or and it gets dropped, or all these crazy procedural penalties, holding penalties. They've got to stop. And I mean, and luckily we have Conradi, but we got to start turning these drives that we kick field goals into touchdowns, because it's been honestly, there were so many opportunities last week in the Arizona State game where they had chances to score points, and we kicked field goals, and that ended up costing us. Obviously, I do think Kyle will have a better kicking game this week, since it's basically going to be perfect weather, 83 degrees and sunny in Fort Worth this weekend. So make sure everyone who's going down, it should be a nice weather for the Cyclone fans who and the contingent of people who are going to be going down to Fort Worth this weekend. And the second thing for me is to take care of the football. I mean, we took care of the football for the most part last week. We did turn it over a few. We did turn it over a few times last week. So I think if we play a much more cleaner brand of football and win the turnover margin, I do think that the Cyclones have a chance to win this game. But we have to take care of the football. Like we can't have these things where we press and then we go and play sloppy football. But yeah, and then the third key for me is to get off the field. I know that might be that might be more of a tall task for this depleted defense, but look, and obviously there are people the you know it's limited because you have a whole bunch of new faces on defense coming in and playing and doing the best they can. But honestly, I really think the key to this game to getting off the field is tackling. I just think that I've just seen way too many times this year to where we try to lay the big hit, but we don't want to wrap up. We have got to wrap up at the point of contact. If we can get there, and wrap up at the point of contact, if it's 39, go and gang tackle as a team and get the team off the field so we can just give our offense more chances to score. And I really do think that the Iowa State does have a chance at to get to score a lot of points in this game. I do think that they have a chance to get out of this rut. So we're gonna go to predictions now. Honestly, we like if you have been obviously if you're a fan of this show, or if you're a new viewer, on this podcast we have been choosing this team, and usually we're like more of more of from an optimistic standpoint. We're probably one of the most optimistic Iowa State shows out there. I just man, I would like to pick Iowa State to win, but I just defensively, man, I just think that there just comes a point to where the injuries. I don't know. These injuries might be too much to overcome. I just think that TCU just has a better offense. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to pick Iowa State to win, I think Iowa State drops this one, unfortunately, and they lose this one. I'll say 34-24 on the road. I just think that these injuries on defense are just going to be way too much to overcome. And I'd like to hope that there's sort of like a reverse psychology here. If I pick them to lose and they actually win, but honestly, I don't feel good about the vibe of this team right now. So I'm picking them to lose, 34-24. However, we are going to look at the national slate and Big 12 slate like we always do. So we're gonna take a look at that right here, and I'm gonna share my screen, and then we're gonna take a look at that. All right. So we're gonna take a look at the Big 12. We have some Friday night football. I'm honestly scared to death for Houston in this game. In the first matchup on Friday because this is the space game, and every time that Arizona or not Arizona, UC Middle Florida has played in the space game, they absolutely just put B to A on whoever plays. I believe last year they destroyed Arizona in this game, 56-12. And then if you guys remember in 2023 when Oklahoma State was on their way to a Big 12 title game, they ended up going down and losing by 6 touchdowns to UCF 45-3. So UCF just sometimes just loves to show up. Those space jerseys do something for them. I have no idea. Although right now the betting line has Houston as a 1.5 point favorite. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna pick the upset in that one. I think UCF wins that one. I just think that Houston they could be reeling, especially after a bad loss at home to a very very bad West Virginia team. And man, we gotta talk about this one. This one is definitely the game of the day, and this one's going to be a college game day game on ABC at 11 a.m. in Lubbock as number 7 BYU goes on the road to play Texas Tech. And basically, this game is going to be for supremacy in the Big 12. BYU has just been amazing with Bear Bachmeier, their defense. It's going to be interesting to see though how they fare without LJ Martin um, in this game. So it should be a fun mix, and I believe Baron Morton is back for Texas Tech. So Texas Tech right now is a 10.5 point favorite. So if you see, I don't know. I don't know that line is pretty high to me. I probably would pick the BYU to cover in that game. I also wouldn't be surprised if they win this game straight up. If they win this game straight up, because BYU is just on another level. They're just a completely well coached team. So that one should be interesting. We have Colorado and West Virginia on TNT. That one's sort of going to be a snoozer between just two bad teams. I think West Virginia probably has a chance to win that one. That's why they're 6.5 point favorite because Colorado, ever since that win against Iowa State, has just been complete dumpster juice. So that one, if you want to watch that, sure. We have Kansas going on the road against Arizona. Uh, these teams are I believe 5-3, and so they have a chance to get to bowl eligibility. And TCU, like I said, they have a chance if they win this game, have a chance to stay alive in a slim chance to stay in the Big 12 race. And now we're gonna take a look at the national slate. It's sort of this weekend football wise sort of stinks because like this is the week when the SEC teams play all their bye games. Although on Tuesday we did have Maction returned. We had Akron destroy UMass 44-10, and then we had Miami with a close win over Miami of Ohio 24-20. And then on Wednesday we had Tuesday night Maction and Wednesday night Maction. We have Ball State surviving Kent State 17-13, and Toledo destroys Northern Illinois 42-3. Man, had the mighty F fallen in the MAC, Northern Illinois is bad this year. And then we have some fun matchups tonight in the Sun Belt and in the American. We have Georgia Southern going on the road to App State. App State's a 4.5 point favorite. And then we have UTSA, who had the big upset win last week over Tulane. They go on the road and face South Florida. And if you look at these lines, man, you look at the over under in that game for South Florida is 66.5, which is absolutely insane. So those should be a fun watch tonight. We talked about the space game on tomorrow. We also have two other games. We have Northwestern going on the road to LA to play USC at 8 p.m. USC a 14.5-point favorite in that one. And Tulane tries to rebound as they go on the road to Memphis in the Liberty Bowl to play Memphis. Memphis is having a great season this year. Both these teams are trying to get back into the American race, although it's right now it's a 3-team race. All right, and then we look at the 11 o'clock slate. Uh, it's sort of like I said, this weekend is lackluster. Basically, if you're looking for sneaky games, I could try to tell you sneaky games. We have Indiana going on the road against Penn State, Georgia going on the road to Mississippi State, SMU going all the way to the East Coast to Boston to play Boston College. James Madison tries to keep their hopes alive of a playoff bid as they go on the road to Huntington to play Marshall. We also have Ohio State going on the road to West Lafayette to play Purdue. Let's see, anything else that really stands out? I guess if you want to talk about Maryland and Rutgers, maybe, and then we have a ranked versus ranked matchup, two of them at 2:30. We have Texas A&M going on the road to Columbia to play Missouri. This used to be an old Big 12 matchup, but Texas A&M basically has a chance to just, if they keep winning, they probably will be able to clinch a spot in the SEC title game. Missouri has a chance to play spoiler. And at 2:30 on CBS at Kinnick, we have Oregon going all the way to the Midwest to Iowa City to play the Iowa Hawkeyes on CBS. This one should be a dandy. Oregon right now is a 6.5-point favorite. This one should be interesting to watch. And then Miami returns home as Miami is host to Syracuse at home. And then Duke and UConn play in football, which is usually a great basketball matchup. Also, Kansas and Arizona is a great basketball matchup. And then Vanderbilt, number 16 Vanderbilt, looks to rebound at 3 p.m. as they face off against Auburn, who just let go of Hugh Freeze. And Washington is on the road at Madison as they play the Wisconsin Badgers, as Wisconsin just put the news out that Luke Fickell is returning as their head coach for next season. And I already know that Badger fans are not happy about that. So I do feel sorry for Wisconsin fans. I do. There are some tricky games, maybe, or possibly the teams that could be put on upset alert. Wake Forest could possibly be just. Well, Virginia has been surviving. They survived against North Carolina. They have been holding on by skin of teeth the last few weeks, but they have been winning. But watch out for Wake Forest against Virginia in this one. If Virginia isn't on their A game, they definitely could get upset in that one. Cal, man, I just I don't know. You're going 2 time zones across, and you're playing Louisville, and Louisville is still a team that has a lot to play for. They're right behind um, Cal in the standings. Florida State and Clemson, a game which would determine who would go to the playoff, is basically just a lackluster game because Clemson is 3-5 and they're no good at all this year. Can Florida State get back into bowl contention and win this game? And then we have usually a game that usually is always has juice. It doesn't this year. LSU is coachless, and Alabama is on a roll. Alabama's a 9.5-point favorite, and this one's a Tuscaloosa. I expect the Tide to roll in this one. You have Navy going on the road to South Bend to play Notre Dame. That one should be interesting. Florida, a week after they got cheated by the in Jacksonville by Georgia Bulldogs, they go on the road to Lexington to play Kentucky. We see Nebraska going on the road to UCLA. Nebraska has a chance to get bowl eligible, or actually, they already are bowl eligible. But and then if you are truly a sicko, there's 3 games that you should definitely watch. UNLV at Colorado State, Sam Houston at Oregon State, and then at 10 p.m. we have San Diego State going on the road to play Hawaii. And I mean that is the slate this week for college football. Like I said, it's a very lackluster um, schedule this week. So, I mean, this is definitely a good. I believe next week's slate is good, especially just when you think about the bye week. When obviously it's on the bye week before they end up with the last two games. But I'm just hoping that for our sake, that the boys go out there and get a win. Even though I did pick against them, I just hope for that for their sake that they do win. Because I just like it'd be just so it'd be very very nice for them because they've been working hard. It's just they haven't been able to get it done. But as always, um, since we're nearing the end of the show, we're going to take a big thank you to FanDuel, and we're going to talk about and look at some possible things that you can go and bet on. So, as I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to do that. If I can get to the page. All right. So, if you are a sicko and you want to watch the Raiders versus Broncos Thursday Night Football, here is a pretty good wager. And this one is plus 3502. So let's do a $10 wager would get you $350. You have these are all anytime touchdown scores. I think these would be a really good bet to make. JK J.K. Dobbins, anytime touchdown scorer. Cortland Sutton, anytime touchdown scorer. Ashton Genty, anytime touchdown scorer. And Brock Bowers, anytime touchdown scorers. I think that one has a really, really good chance to hit. So you can, if you definitely know ball, go and make money, especially with this one. We can go take a look at some NBA parlays or maybe some odds that you think. We got the Phoenix Suns hosting the LA Clippers. We have Cleveland on the road against Washington. And then we have the Friday matchups. Just for example, the Milwaukee Bucks are a 4-point favorite against the Chicago Bulls. And if you want to put money on the Bulls to win in Milwaukee, which they will, this is how you can do it. Go and make an account with FanDuel, and we're going to also look at the promotions too. So here are the promotions that are on FanDuel right now. So if you bet $5, you get $150 if you win. There is a NFL $2 million touchdown jackpot. It says, and it's also so you can score bonus bets on the first or last touchdown. There's a profit boost, 30% profit boost for tonight's game. If you post a wager on the Broncos Raiders game, there's a 25% profit boost for same game parlay if you're a hockey fan. Obviously, there is the boosting with the boys, the busting with the boys parlay boost if you bet during college football. And there's also a Bet Protect. Bet Protect, it basically says if you place a pre-life player prop wager and your player exits the game in the first quarter and does not return, you will be refunded your stake in bonus bets. So that's a pretty nice little perk right there. There's daily play. Make your free info picks with the daily play. Pick every day, go 6 for 6, and win a share of $100,000 in bonus bets. And then also a refer a friend. Refer a friend, you both get two 100% profit boost tokens after they place and settle their first. There's a play your way. You can adjust lines, customize player props, and get instant odds when you create bets you can't find anywhere else. And you can bet your college football your way with team rushing, receiving, and total yard props in same game parlays. So as you can see, FanDuel has a lot of perks and a lot of promos that you can take advantage of at FanDuel. So thank you, FanDuel, for being a sharing sponsor of the Believe in Iowa State podcast. All right, we are going to end tonight's show. As always, you can find us on social media on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. The Twitch handle is Believe in ISU 2025. And also, if you need to reach out to me, I and or Cody, we can be found on Twitter. I can be found on Twitter at SciTi and I can be, and then Cody can be found at Fomac Campbell. Um, Programming alert, actually, we are probably going to have, since it's going to be the bye week, we're going to have 3 shows on next week. Me and Cody will be doing an interview with a special guest on Monday night, and then Jake Brand will be joining the show next Thursday afternoon. We're going to be doing an afternoon show. That one is going to be mostly, since it's a bye week, that one is going to be fully basketball as we talk about the upcoming Vegas tournament for the Iowa State Cyclones during Thanksgiving weekend, and we're going to break down that um, entire bracket and see how Iowa State will fare in those 2 matchups and possibly maybe more. So, thank you for all you sickos that are watching, all you 26 sickos that are watching. Your support means more than you'll ever know. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I am your host Tyler Carter, and roll clones, baby.